Hey guys, welcome back. Karlo Silva here, Ray's back, and welcome back to Laying It Down. We have another guest, Miss Kelly. Go ahead and introduce yourself. She got herself a nice mic for the seriousness of this podcasting. So
I gotta shout out my boyfriend for this one.
Awesome. So. Well, Eric.
Yeah. Yes.
Big salute.
Yeah. So he's in the next room. Hopefully, I don't say anything embarrassing about him. Well,
all's safe here. So you're in a safe space
okay,
here.
Good.
So again, thank you again, fans, for tuning in for another episode of Laying It Down. I'm Karlo.
Really good.
And again, we have Kelly. So Kelly, before once we go ahead and get started, let's just go ahead and just fly through this thing. What you think?
Let's do it.
All right. So, first and foremost, before we go ahead, once we go ahead and get started, talk to us a little bit about yourself. What's, where are the beginnings of greatness for you?
Oh boy. I'm not sure that I began great.
Okay.
Or if I am great, but, let's see here. I grew up in Champaign, Illinois. So central Illinois, about 2.5 hours south of Chicago. I started playing volleyball when I was in 5th grade. So I was about like 10 or 11. I don't know, whatever age you are.
Right. Starting off young. It's okay.
Yep.
Nobody remembers.
Yeah, I know. Started playing club in 7th grade. I went to like a small, private school. So we had seriously 6 girls, I'm pretty sure, on our volleyball team at my middle school. And so club was pretty much everything for me until I got to high school. So started club in 7th grade. Shout out to Megan McLennan, who quit the highest level team. So then I got her spot. And
Nice.
That is the reason.
Okay.
Megan McLennan.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And yeah, there was like a local club in Champaign. It's called Prime Time. I think they still play tournaments up here. But like, I don't know. We didn't have men's volleyball. We still don't in Central Illinois. And then my junior year, I started getting more serious about wanting to go play in college. And so I switched clubs to a more competitive one that was in Bloomington, Illinois, Illini Elite, which at the time was owned by Sports Performance.
Oh yeah, they're everywhere. So
yeah, so like we would go up and train with the Sports Performance girls and all that stuff. And so I had to travel 3 days a week for 4-hour practices. For 45. It was a 45-minute drive to Bloomington.
I was gonna say, 4-hour drive.
No, 4-hour practices. Yeah, 4-hour practices. And they were always on Friday nights too. So like once I switched clubs, I never went to high school basketball games. It was kind of the worst, also kind of worth it.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. And then I can't even remember. I probably should look some of this stuff up. So I guess 2011 is when I signed my national letter of intent to go play in college. So I must have been recruited like my junior year, and I think I committed in July, summer after my junior year, and then like going into my senior year of college or of high school, I was like, I know where I'm going. You guys all have tough decisions, but yeah, I ended up going. So I went to IUPUI.
Okay.
The longest name in the NCAA.
Only person I know that went there is George Hill. And he played basketball.
Yep.
So
that's our claim to fame is George Hill. So it was Indiana University, Purdue University, Indianapolis.
Golly. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
And that's kind of were the exciting volleyball times in college, and then graduated, came up to Chicago, and now I'm having, not now because of quarantine, but now I'm playing like the best volleyball of my life. I love it so much.
Really? Okay. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. For sure. So, talk to us a little bit about, so the beginnings, right? So you started off like I guess you said fifth grade, right? And then like, did you kind of just get engrossed into it? Like, did you just like fall in love with it right away, or
No.
like were you like playing any other sports before that? Like, what's the whole deal?
I was playing every sport.
Okay.
In fact, I distinctly remember in 5th grade or 6th grade, like hating volleyball and just wanting to go play soccer. Because I was also playing soccer at the time. And guys, I was so bad at soccer. Like, I don't know how.
And you wanted to play soccer?
I was playing forward, midfield, and I never scored. Like, ever in my life, I've never scored a goal in soccer. Mm-hmm. And for some reason, I think it's probably just like what my friends were doing. I don't really remember, but it wasn't until I think I got a really good coach that I really started to love volleyball. And that was that 7th grade club season. So it didn't take long, but I really didn't like it at first.
Oh, man. So
did it occur to you, you were just like, you know what, I'm going to stick with volleyball? Or was there like a time that just like, I'm just going to pick or stick to one sport and just
screw
everything else?
As someone, so I've been tall my whole life. And
I was just going to ask you that. I was just going to ask you that.
Like, height-wise, like
going into high school, I feel like that's kind of when like the big decision was. And I remember it kind of being a decision like basketball or volleyball but volleyball was always the number one. And it was like, if I was going to play basketball, it would be attempting to play both.
Ooh, okay.
And like at my high school, that wasn't like, there were like maybe 1 or 2 girls who did that successfully because club season. So volleyball season in the fall, and then club is basically from November through the summer. And so if you tried to do basketball, there wasn't a lot of volleyball coaches didn't really like that. I'm sure the basketball coaches didn't like it either, but I don't know. I think
that's cool. So you played both. So in high school you played
in middle school. In middle school. Okay. Yeah. So I also did join the intramural team in college for 1 season.
Nice.
Those are always fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So man, that's awesome. So when you first started playing volleyball, obviously you said you didn't like it at first, and then but like, what do you feel like changed for you then? If once you said, hey, you know what, maybe this is something that like I can get into.
Man, I wish I could remremember.
Or was there like one event that you're like, oh man, like I probably caved this girl's
like,
face.
Oh hell yeah, volleyball. For sure.
Like, I really wish I could remember. I think I have no idea. Like I said, I think it was a combination of like coaches, and then finally just like learning. I think around the time of like that 7th grade, 8th grade, like is when you start to learn the different rotations. It's not just like rotating 6 spots around. It's like much more strategic. I think I started to really like see how fun it could be. And then I switched between like being a middle and outside or right side like my entire career. But when I saw that like middles, the different sets that they could run and like how sneaky you could be, I remember like really enjoying that. So I think, I guess the strategy of it.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. Well, that's awesome. Yeah. And then, so coming to high school, right? Obviously, club and it was just pretty much everything at that point. Presume, right? So.
Oh yeah, made the freshman team.
Okay.
My freshman year.
I think everyone does. Almost everyone does, but like.
Yeah.
Usually they have.
I was disappointed though.
They have like 2 teams and freshman team. I don't know, but
no. There's like less than 400 kids in my class.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we had a freshman team, a JV team, and a varsity.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
And I was pretty upset that I didn't make at least JV, and then I don't know, man, I can't even. And then my sophomore year, I made varsity.
Mm-hmm. And you didn't look back after that.
Just like, do you guys remember tryouts?
It's probably one of the most stressful things because like everyone's talking in between, like, oh, like I have to like make the coach look like I'm working or like impress them, so I can and make the team. Like
even like through my senior year tryouts, like I was nervous.
Yeah,
and which is kind of crazy at that point. I should be sure, but I don't know. And I guess maybe that was just my coach was very mean. I don't know.
As for me, I think sophomore year, I had to like obviously trying out, right? Now everyone makes a team sophomore year, because freshman year we had A and B team for freshman year, so we had like 20, 30 guys trying out for JV. Plus, they already have some of the JVs staying, but most moving up to varsity.
Yeah.
And I remember I was like, oh man, there's like, it's either I stay as a DS or try out for or do better to be a setter. And luckily I made the team for as a setter at that year, and then became a DS after that. And
you had one more season.
Nerve-wracking though, because you're just like, all right, I have
right, and you're like, what position am I most likely to make it as, and do I want to be that position? Yeah. Well, actually, I just remembered that my senior year, the juniors, there were 9 or 10 of them, and they had all committed to places. So it was like, so I was like, one. They were like this, I don't know, this crazy group of girls.
So talk to us about that, that experience then, going into high school or during those high school games and actually seeing those college scouts, like, talk about that excitement. Or maybe were you nervous? I don't know.
I'm sure I was nervous. Guys, my memory, not good. I probably should have done some research.
It's all good.
I think I was nervous. So they don't really go to your high school games. They go to your club games.
Right.
That's like where most of the recruiting was. And a lot of them, if you don't know what they look like, then you don't know that they're coming to watch you. Maybe they're coming to watch other girls. Like, the process of recruiting is insane. So my process was, and I'm sure it's changed since then. So anyone out there listening that is trying to be recruited through volleyball, maybe this won't work. But what I did was each of these, I think all the divisions 1 through 3, like, they have questionnaires that you can go fill out on their website, and you just say like what your GPA is, what your touch jump is, like what position you want to play. Yeah. And then like what major tournaments you're going to play at, so then they can come watch you. And most of the time you get like a generic email back, but every once in a while you get wow, we'd like really love to see you play. Like, do you have tape that you can send us? And and so I knew, so then I got one of those emails back from the school I went to. And so I knew that they were coming to watch, and I could recognize them. And I don't know, there is a level of nervousness, but at some point, like you just have tunnel vision and you just play. Like, you can't think about both things at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
Just let your play do the talking.
Yeah, exactly.
Was there a time? Because we've never gone through this, so I could just only imagine what if was there a time that you were like, you know what, like, I know this scout's here for someone else, but I'm gonna go bust this person in front of their scouts.
Well, there would be,
and then steal their spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there'd be girls who were committed, and so then their coaches would just come watch just to check up on them. And you're like, oh, well, I know. Well, also you have an idea of how many positions have been filled at these, on these teams.
Right.
So you kind of know so they committed to Milwaukee. So they already have a right side and an outside. This is a real situation. Like the 2 girls on my team both went to Wisconsin, Milwaukee. And one was an outside, one was a right side. It's like, well, they're not looking for me. So I can just put that out of my mind. But maybe there's another school that definitely happened. You're like, oh, I'm going to try and step it up a little bit, even though they don't know who I am, but they can find out.
That sounds awesome. That's so dope. How do you feel like then, your if there was even a change, right? Like, what was your mentality like in high school, and then versus going to college? I mean, was there a big change? Was there even a change at all? Like, what was that like?
Yeah. So, high school, like I played every game all the way around, but I had a very healthy ego, I think, going into college. Like I 100%, well, first off, I never thought I'd play Division I. I was going for the Division IIs, kind of looking at the Division IIIs. Like I just wanted to keep playing. That's all I knew I wanted to do. And then the Division I opportunity came about, and I'm like, okay, like I guess if they're going to help me pay for my school, then that's the best option. And I did not think I was going to play. I went into college thinking I'm just going to ride the bench for a couple of years. Maybe I'll work my way into a spot, but that's just the way it's going to be. Okay. And then, got put in the first game, and I'm like, oh, okay.
What'd you start off?
Here we go.
What'd you start off?
Yeah. Right side. I played right side all 4 years, and that was I had never played right side. I was always outside or middle, so that was interesting. But yeah, so the mentality, I think it seriously, it was a full 180. I went from I'm going to play every single game and I know everything to I'm going to assume I'm not playing at all and I know nothing. And then I was pleasantly surprised. You just got to keep your expectations low and just be excited.
Dang.
Yeah.
So was there like when you started playing right side, did it ever occur to you, or just like, you know what, I'm having a hard time like kind of learning to play right side, and you know how like the position and everything, like did it ever do you have a hard time like playing that position before, or was it just natural, like, you know, I'm just gonna play like?
I definitely remember having a hard time transitioning correctly, because you always go the wrong way, and also just running into the setter. Transitioning. But there was never really, I think I kind of thrived in it because it's a little faster of a set than outside generally. And so I don't know, it just worked better for me. I learned from my dad, who's probably my first coach ever, that you always want to be coachable. So I never like felt, I was kind of just game for anything. And there were definitely times where I was very frustrated, and I'm like, why aren't I not connecting with this setter? And she's frustrated with me. I'm frustrated with her. What is going on? And then I've said this since, like, I get my self-esteem from getting awesome kills. And so if I'm not getting set, then I'm not doing anything. And then it's just like a whole mental thing. But yeah, that was definitely a struggle. I think like my sophomore year, it was really just the freshman year that was really hard. And then my sophomore year, I finally started clicking with the setter, and we went to the NCAA tournament that year. I think. Oh
nice.
Was that year?
Well, you went to the big dance one way.
It was definitely sophomore year.
Okay. You guys went to the big dance one way or another, so that's always fun.
It was cool.
How was that?
Did you have the same setter throughout those 4 years, or?
No, so she was a junior when I was a freshman, so I only had her for 2 years. Okay. And then we had another setter that was a sophomore when I was a freshman, and then she quit. Sometime, I don't remember. And we had some setter problems.
Oh,
let's just say that.
That's tough.
Yeah,
that's tough. Somebody has to do it.
Yeah.
So you guys made it to the big dance.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about that atmosphere, like.
Oh boy. Okay, so we got in there because we won our conference tournament. Right. It's you guys know, it's like basketball. We won our conference tournament, and so then we were playing the only team that was undefeated, Mizzou.
Oh, yeah.
And we had to go play at Mizzou. And we can't even get, like, we never had any fans at our games. I mean, one time we played IU, Indiana University, and like we completely filled the stadium, but because they were in state, like
Right.
it was a really big deal. But like going to a different school, they had this huge stadium thing that they're playing in. They're undefeated, and it's like, oh my God. But it was, at that point, it's so loud that it doesn't matter that they're cheering for the other team, because it's just chaos and you can't hear what anyone's saying. So you're like, well, they could be cheering for me, so I'll take it.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah. It was actually a really good game. I don't know. I could look up the stats. I don't remember, but we played really well. So that was really gratifying.
Well,
did that like your mentality coming into that tournament, playing against an undefeated team, were just like, you know what?
Yes.
Going all balls out to the wall.
Yes. I think
throughout the whole season.
Oh yeah. I think that was like it was the first time our school had ever done that before. Like that was the best we've ever done. And so it was kind of just, we're just going to go in and do our thing and do our best we can. And it was a very good game. And I wish, I don't know. I think for me personally too, but
that's awesome.
I don't know.
Of course. Yeah.
I can look back at it and have really good feelings. And so that's all that matters.
Right. As long as you had good memories, then that's all that matters, right?
Yeah.
So let's move on then past college, right? You said that you're probably playing your the most fun volleyball, right? So tell us a little about that, actually.
Yeah. So I mean, when I graduated, I moved up to Chicago like 2 months after I graduated or whatever, and I was pretty burnt out in volleyball, and I kind of didn't want to compete anymore. It was kind of, I just want to have fun. I just want to just bang some balls and just like, I don't know. And that's it. I didn't really care about winning or I don't know, or the pettiness of it all. It can just get so annoying.
You get caught up to it.
Yeah.
It's like, it's kind of drains you a little bit.
Absolutely.
Like we're having fun.
Yeah. And I do still, and I'm not sure that I think it's the pettiness, not the competitiveness that I was trying to avoid. Cause man, I still yell at people across the net. So I don't know. But yeah, I started. Like
nobody will ever stop that. Like everyone's always gonna talk.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. What pisses me off the most is when people don't like call their like mistakes. Like like if you're in the net, you're in the net. Like we don't have, even when there is a ref, it's not a real ref. Like just just respect the game.
Of course.
Makes me so mad. But so I started playing. My sister was living here at the time, and she plays volleyball too, of course. She's a setter, and we just joined a players league as independents. And then in that league is how I met Ryan. Mm-hmm. And
shout out Straight Six.
Yep. And then I got involved with that. And then I met everyone, and that's how it is. And and then he invited me to PVL. Just how I met you guys. Right. And and here we are.
So, man, actually talk to us a little bit about PVL and, like your first, I guess, impression of it, and maybe your first experience. Like, what did you,
first impression? Well, okay, first off, Jake Siska, now Jake Strasser. You guys know him?
AKA Jake from State Farm?
Yeah. So he was on my team the first season I played. So that was summer 2017 probably. Yeah. And the first thing I noticed, he was the tallest person in the gym. I was the second tallest.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's probably most cases. So.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't think I'm usually the second tallest, but he is usually the tallest. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I mean, I was just kind of, when Ryan even asked me to play in the Filipino volleyball league, I'm like, okay. Like,
what is that?
How is that a thing? Okay. Yeah. That sounds great. Like, and I was excited, like, oh yeah, I'm an import. Like, this is awesome. But yeah, I don't know. I've met so many awesome people from PVL, like, Chris Banjit.
Yeah. The Bangits,
Awesome.
yeah, the Bangits,
Yeah,
and
Bangits.
and Chalor. So shout out to them. Hopefully they can get on this episode.
Yeah.
Sometime
Oh
soon.
yeah. I'll put in a good word.
Yeah, please. Actually, because I've been trying to reach out to them and they haven't responded. So Bangits, you guys better respond.
They're not very good at texting, but I'll help you
Maybe
out.
Snapchat.
Maybe
Snapchat.
That's, okay, so you started in 2017, man. That's It seems
so
like
we got second place, and then second place again, and then finally first place last year.
Right. So you guys ended up
amazing.
Yeah, you guys ended up beating the two-time champ or the back-to-back champs at that time. So, I mean, I know it's probably way smaller than what you played in college, right? But what
are you kidding? Like those championship games get so loud. Like, no, they're so fun.
Well, how did it feel like to actually to finally win?
Oh, it was great. Honestly, I felt like Ryan was the most excited out of all of us, and he could finally just breathe because we just got in second place twice in a row. And he's like,
it's like the chip on your shoulder. Trying to win it back, but you can't.
And we kept losing to the same team over and over again. It's like, oh, come on.
And that's like the annoying part too.
Yeah.
You know how they play, and then you just can't.
Yeah. I mean, we also brought in ringers for that last season, John Hernandez and Chris Afonte.
Well,
so.
I mean, and honestly, and I was going to say this, like, if you guys didn't win, I'm like, I don't know. I don't even know.
Yeah.
So actually, you know what, to kind of backpedal here a little bit, talk to us a little about the first time, so even maybe throughout volleyball, throughout your career, who was the first person to bust your ass in volleyball, like just give you the business that you remember?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
It could be or actually, let's talk a little bit about college, because I'm sure that's the highest level you've played, right? That you're all like, man, this person's just is the truth. I can't stop this person. No matter what we do, or if there was a team that you're all like, man, we just can't, everything we gave, they're just gonna put me in a dark place.
I'd have to look at it. Can I look at a schedule? An old schedule?
Yeah, you could do that.
I don't know. Honestly, the first thing that came to mind was playing. Well, I don't know. There's so many different.
Or the first
person that came to mind that was truly unstoppable. We played BYU at some random tournament, and this girl was 6'8".
Oof. I can only imagine 6'8" looks like at this point.
It was crazy. Yeah.
And that's probably
yeah, she didn't even have to jump. She just hit over us. I don't know. It was so cool being such a low to mid-level Division I team. We had the opportunity to play so many Big Ten teams.
Big Ten, yeah.
And we played Ohio State 3 times. We never won, but that sticks out to me just because we're always very competitive with them, which is awesome. I mean, we beat IU, which was really cool.
So were they your rivals?
Not really, because they weren't in our conference. It was a random game that someone set up so that they could come up to our gym. I don't know why they agreed to that and play us.
They just want the smoke. That's why.
Yeah.
Always wants the smoke. Well, that's good. That's always fun.
Yeah. I mean, we had lots of inter-conference rivals. IPFW was our big rival. And I don't think we ever beat them at their home gym. Ever.
Did you like traveling during those games?
Yeah, actually, yes, I did. We had to fly a lot. Traveling. We had to fly a lot because our conference was in North Dakota and South Dakota and then Colorado. So we had to fly all the time. Oh no, we only have 10 minutes left.
It's okay.
So we had to fly a lot, and I specifically my freshman year, my bed was really uncomfortable, and so I loved sleeping in hotel rooms and getting like my own queen bed. It was awesome. Yeah.
I mean, because I know Ray likes to. Ray likes to travel with the RMU team. So
yeah, it's like annoying.
Do you guys do buses?
We have like a travel van, and when it gets packed, it's like you have like your bag with you, and you get to the van and you find a good ass spot, and hopefully nobody try to like squeeze in with you.
Yeah.
But like obviously seniority and stuff, like freshman year gets the bag, and like everyone else, like whoever's upperclassman gets like the good spot. Yeah. And you get like the little charger port in the side just in case.
Yeah. It was kind of nice that we never had to do like the sleeper buses or anything like that, because I hear
the coach buses and stuff.
Yeah. I hear stories about that.
I can only imagine. I mean, I like I said, I've never gone through any of that, so, and I'm kind of glad I didn't either. So
you're not missing out, man. It's like
just take a Greyhound like to another major city, and maybe you can.
I've done that before. I've done that.
Well, there you go.
So is it just like that I'm just gonna presume that? Like,
that you're reading, trying to do homework at the same time, or
yeah. Well, that's
you're just like, all right, screw this homework.
Yeah.
So coming back to I guess your fun volleyball experiences now. I mean, talk to us about then. What's going on now? Like with this whole quarantine ordeal. I mean, I know we're not able to play or anything. I mean, what's been going on with yourself and how are you coping with all this?
This is the longest I've ever not played volleyball ever in my since I started.
Same. Yeah.
And
same here.
It sucks. I don't know. I need to. I just don't. I don't want to go pepper. Like, I want to go inside a gym. I don't really like outdoor volleyball. I mean, grass is fine, but sand isn't really my thing. I just want to go into a gym and play a great game of volleyball.
Same, yeah. I mean, we were thinking about. Well, I don't know about now, Karlo, because it looks like
it's gonna rain. But we were gonna play grass after this, but
we were gonna set up a grass net.
Where do you guys live?
So I
live in Skokie,
and I'm across the street from Sauganash. So.
So you guys are pretty close.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I'm in field out there, so.
Yeah, I'm in Lincoln Square, so it's like not far from that area at all.
So Sauganash isn't too bad. Real quick question before we sign off here, though. If you were to pick 3 other people to make a Forest team, out of everyone you've played with, and like let's say if you were to like I said, if you were to walk into a gym and be like, you know what, I'm going to give you guys the business with these 3 other people. Who would those 3 people be?
Oh, boy. All right. Is this a co-ed Forest team?
It can be however you feel like. It doesn't have to be co-ed. It can be all women's. It could be all dudes.
No, I'm gonna do women.
Okay.
So we got Caitlin Hickey, my roommate all 4 years of college, basically an All-American. I think she was an All-American, all honor or like honorable mention. My high school club setter Meredith Bowe played at SLU. Freaking awesome. And I had a Fours League set up with her because she just moved back to Chicago, and it was about to start, and then the city shut down.
Oh, sad.
I'm like so annoyed. Okay, and then I need
shut down.
Yeah, I need a DS. I'm gonna go my who's the best DS I've ever played with? Oh, Jade Mortimer. She was my DS 1 year in high school.
There you go. So dimes all day.
Dimes
all day.
Yeah.
Man, that's all
undefeated record at that tournament.
Yeah.
So it'd be awesome.
So if you
I'd be the weak link, to be honest.
If any of you women see those 4 women bunched up together in a Forest League, y'all better watch out. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Well, quick thing. So before we sign off, Kelly, do you have any words of wisdom maybe to to maybe a young person, who's listening to this, that's maybe looking to live the dream and play D1 and hopefully maybe play somewhere else too.
Yeah.
Or maybe advice about getting
to where you got.
Yeah.
Where you got
I think the number one thing is to always be coachable. I think I said that earlier. You don't know better than other people. And even if you do, shut up until they're not your leader anymore. Because, what's the worst that can happen? You could get injured, but if it's not going to cause you injury, listen to your coaches and get all the knowledge you can while you still have coaches. I miss having coaches and practicing.
Right.
Sometimes, you're just doing something weird and you're like, I know I'm doing something weird. Someone just needs to tell me what I'm doing wrong and how to correct it. But yeah, I think just be coachable.
That makes sense. Well, Kelly, thank you so much for your time. I know.
Thank you guys. It was awesome.
Yeah. This quarantine really sucks, but I'm glad that like I said, we were able to be able to just talk and hopefully this is something that can spark something later on. Who knows? We can.
I'll get Chris and Shalora for you.
Please, that would be great. So shout out to them. Shout out to them.
Even Joe. Maybe we should reach out to Joe. Queer Joe.
Oh yeah. See, we can reach out to everybody. So. Again, for everyone tuned in, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for listening.
We got the champ with us. We were able to get the champ Kelly with us, and again, give us a like, share, subscribe, whatever you guys can, and
follow us on
Instagram, Facebook, anything. YouTube.
Subscribe. Ring that bell.
Yes, ring that bell. Look for
follow Kelly if he has any Instagram.
Oh yeah, welly cocktail everywhere.
Yes, and we'll add that to the description, the links below. And again, ladies and gentlemen, most importantly, keep laying it down.
Let's get it.
Good night, guys.
Bye.